I've always asked myself this question. I believe in God and I believe in everything He told us. But I've always asked myself, if jinn really exist, what are they actually like? If magic truly exists, in what forms is this magic practiced? How does it work? Why? And who are the people that have this ability, and who are the people that don't? Since I was young, all these questions have been going around in my head, but with what I lived through, I found my answers, and I discovered that since childhood I was actually very close to these worlds. The hero of our story is named Samir. Samir is 27 years old. He lived with his family and parents and had a normal childhood. Honestly, he doesn't remember much about the childhood he lived. Many things he no longer remembers. But what he does remember is that when he got his baccalaureate diploma, he graduated and wanted to study journalism. And that's exactly what he did. He specialized in journalism and earned a bachelor's degree in it. And like many ambitious young people who graduate from higher education and get their degree, Samir didn't find a job. He became a little depressed and stayed at home with his parents, doing nothing. He kept trying to look for work, but nothing. Until one point, staying with his parents became a problem, because every day they would pressure him and tell him, get up, go do something, work. One day, he couldn't handle those words anymore. He borrowed a small amount of money from his friend and went to live on his own. I won't lie to you, the place Samir moved into was a very cheap rental. It was in a bad area. It was dirty, suspicious, and there was nothing good about it. Honestly, the only good thing about it was that it was cheap, very cheap, and Samir could stay there, relax, and think until he found a job. Samir's relationship with people was very limited, and he didn't have many friends. He didn't like talking much or gathering with people and retelling his life story. Days passed, weeks passed, and Samir's boring life started to get worse. No one wanted to hire him, so he would spend the entire day sitting at home. If he went out, it was just to drink coffee and then return home. He did nothing. He slept late and woke up late. In short, a terrible routine. One day, Samir got an idea in his head and said, I don't need someone to hire me. I'm a journalist. I can research any topic and work on it, then sell the stories. So Samir showed us what he was capable of and started thinking. He told himself, if I'm going to research a topic, it has to be something that interests me, so I don't give up quickly. Samir is fascinated by everything metaphysical. He believes that we live alongside things we can't see. He believes in magic. He believes in many things. But this was always a dark point in his life, because he always felt close to these things and didn't know why and didn't understand how any of it worked. Samir, God bless him, began researching. He searched the internet, searched books, and contacted people. After a few days, he was working on this topic at a very intense pace, and he became somewhat known online for investigating this subject. Everything was going well until one day when Samir received a package, a box from the post office. The first thing Samir noticed was that he didn't know who had sent it. When he opened it, he found a book and a piece of paper. The book had written on it, "The Book of Darkness." When he picked up the paper, he found written on it, "Please destroy this book. Do not open it, or you will regret it." And of course, there would be no series like this if Mr. Samir, God bless him, hadn't opened that book for us. He opened the book and found a lot of writing in an unknown language. There were only a few lines he could partially understand. He turned the first page, the second page, the third page, and then he saw something. He saw a symbol drawn in the book. Samir was sure that this symbol was not the first time he had seen it. It was as if he had seen it in his childhood. But since he had forgotten many things that happened when he was young, he couldn't clearly remember what it was. Let me introduce you to Inspector Murad. Murad lives a more than ordinary life. He is married to a woman whose presence seems to fade more as time passes. He has 2 children, one in middle school and one taking his baccalaureate exam this year. Inspector Murad has worked in the police for more than 20 years, and no case has ever escaped him. Honestly, he thinks well and can deduce many important things, but he is a bit impulsive and short-tempered. As I said, no case ever escaped him. But now he is angry, very angry, Because in his city, over the past 2 months, a large number of people have disappeared. Men, women, children, elderly people, young people. More than 26 people disappeared in 2 months. Inspector Murad is in charge of this investigation. He's the one who must find out where these people went and what happened to them. But for
You
2
want to
months,
improve
he
your
hasn't
life,
had a
but
single
you
lead.
don't want to
He is
change.
certain
You have
these
become
people were kidnapped. But who kidnapped them? How were they kidnapped? Why? And where are they now? He has no information except for one very small detail. All the people who disappeared were taken from their homes, and when the police searched their houses, in every home they found somewhere either drawn on a piece of paper, drawn on a wall, or drawn in some place, this symbol. Let's go back to our friend Samir, who is still trying to remember where he saw this symbol. No problem. He continues flipping through the book. He starts turning the pages, and the more he turns them, the more he can read what's written, because the writing is no longer in that strange, unknown language. And the more he reads, the tighter his chest feels. What he's reading talks about something serious. It talks about sacrifice, it talks about a curse, and it talks about an entity. As Samir reads this, he starts feeling a slight dizziness. Everything he sees begins to move. Samir shakes his head and realizes that nothing in reality is moving. He looks back at the book and discovers that it's not him who's dizzy. The book itself is moving. The letters change. The shapes redraw themselves. At that moment, the electricity in his apartment cuts off. As soon as the power goes out, Samir feels a cold gust of wind moving through the apartment. He doesn't understand what's happening, but he tells himself, let me at least close the window and then sit down and understand what this nonsense is. When he goes to the window, he discovers that it's already closed. So, where is that wind coming from? Samir couldn't clearly see what he was looking at, but in the window, something began to appear. A shadow began to form, standing in front of him.